is Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome in. Bear for all season, Deep Blue Sea, Sage. What it do? The man in blue. Fruitful, welcome in. Trace it twice. How's everybody doing tonight? Did you have a good weekend? Get some stuff done, spend some time with the family. Stolen Honor, what's up? How you doing, man? Well, this is Hanging with the Bears. I am that Negro row bear. It is episode 330. And we've got Queen of Eagles. And the name escapes me. I think it's Jessica the Star, which is her sister, part of the Kenny crew in North Carolina. They've been on, or at least Queen of Eagles has been on before, and excited to get her back on, share a little bit. What's up, Easy, Wobbly, Upstate? Yeah, episode 330 confirmed. What up? You got Wobbly, go hang out next weekend. Excited about that. Yeah, Queen of Eagles has done, I think, 2 streams. She did a couple with Copper, and I didn't catch the first one. I did watch the second one, so if we go back over anything, whatnot, it's all gravy. But excited to chat with her. What's up, Jenny? What's up, Nordic Hale? What's up, Batman? Hope you guys are doing well. She's going to be joining on, I think, Jessica's Instagram, so we'll wait until they pop in. What's everybody up to today? Had Pink Floyd stuck in my head. Pink Floyd and the Sanford and Son intro, that bum 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 dum 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 dum. I don't know, man. I'm just talking to myself. It's cool. I guess I could send her an invite. That might be a helpful thing to do. If I can find it here. I'm not even seeing it on here. Where you at? So you went and did that meetup, Deep Blue Sea. Where was that, in Orlando? You said decent little turnout for that. I just worked a little bit. I ended up having to work some yesterday, and always work for a few hours on Sunday. But Zephyr Hills, I don't know where that's at. Now you have it stuck in your head. That's how I do it, man. I'm notorious at just couple little melodies, and then boom. I've got the Pink Floyd, So Ya, Thought You Might Like to Go to the Show. You don't want me singing it here. Close to Tampa. Oh, okay, yeah, that is a little bit of a drive. What's up, Bald Eagle? And Francesca, I'm not even going to try to guess. Dyslexia is firing on all cylinders right now. Flo Cow, what's up? Tim Pools Vini, welcome. Liberty Stead, how goes it? All right, sweet. There's Jessica. Grab you guys. If I can figure it out here. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous that I work in technology because I boom super hard.
Like, who else accidentally leaves the speakeasy? Like, that was a conundrum in and of itself. Hello.
Hello.
How goes it?
Very good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing well. So, what have you guys been up to?
Let us know if we're loud enough.
You're not loud enough.
Okay, talk louder.
Yeah, that was a little better. Yeah. No, just a little bit louder if you can. I don't know. See if I can do anything with audio. I'm not exactly the loudest person on these streams either. People are always like, speak to the back. Like, I'm like, I can't help it. Like, I'm always on chill mode, but awesome. How was y'all's weekend?
Oh, I know. I can get the plug-in for the speaker. Hang on. I'll be right back. Yeah, go ahead. We just had it a little bit further away to get both of us in the shot. So
Well, awesome. So you're Jessica, right?
I am Jessica.
Awesome. Well, this is my first time officially meeting Jessica. I'm not familiar with her really, so kind of share a little bit about yourself while she's getting things sorted. I know you're the youngest sister of the crew. Is that right?
Yes, I'm the youngest of three sisters. In a family of five, I'm number four. So I was the baby for 10 years before my younger godbrother came along. So kind of the baby.
Gotcha.
They've been called baby status, if you know what I mean.
They what? They have
I said
they have
baby status.
youngest
I'm gonna try
tendencies.
to. Can you hear? Is this good or no?
Yes, that's
Okay.
better for sure.
No. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's perfect. Oh man.
Awesome.
Okay. So that's better.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
that's a lot better for sure.
You know, when we were younger, people called us the two little girls. Jerusha and Jerry were both like big and tall, and then me and her were short. We still are. And now we're even attached. So isn't that great?
This is awesome. So many firsts right now.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're already putting your heads together, so I feel like it's going to flow smoothly tonight. But well, so what got you into the community? I kind of know a little bit about Abby's story, but like, how long have you been connected?
Well, technically, I'm bear adjacent. I don't even have a real bear name. Well, she kind of got a bear name when we were at the Pennsylvania, the 4th of July bash at Rhinos. We came up with a few good bear names, but she's never been verified.
Okay, so
they came up with a few names for me at Crush Fest, but it was nothing I wanted to adopt. It was like Party Pooper Bear and so pain in the ass bear.
I mean, so there's no official name then. It's just Jessica.
Moonlight Repair Bear was like kind of insinuated I should try Star Bear since there didn't seem to appear to be any Star Bear. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Star Bear's got a good ring to it. And Abby is just Queen of Eagles, or is it Queen of Eagles Bear?
I used to be Queen Eagle Bear on, I guess, when we switched to D Live. And then after that, I just partially, I didn't end up changing my Instagram moniker just because for various reasons here in the social scene. Abigail is very much into socializing and also involved in local politics. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jerusha's in the chat giving you a hard time. She said you're Debbie Downer Bear.
That was one. That was another one. You can see the trend was not good. It was.
Jerusha, I'm officially deeming Jerusha as Interrogator Bear. She's always in the chat, in the Telegram chat, like asking people like cop questions. Like the other day, she's like, "Where do you live and what do you do for work?" And I'm like, "How do you not know this by now?" Like, I mean, I live in Georgia and I work for a satanic company that's very. That was my answer. She's like, "Okay, I'll take it." But all right, sweet. Well, I've been excited to talk to you guys. I know that you're very fundamental when it comes to like facilitating stuff for the North Carolina Bears, and you guys are very active in general with the community. So it seems like the women, that's their thing, is just really connecting and bringing people together. So it's awesome to see that just in general. Yeah. But you know, I'm really just excited to see how the community is coming together on a whole new level. You know, it's been a couple of years. What's that for, Mama Bear?
Sorry, I just saw
Squirrel.
Just saw her in this. She was giving a shout out to For Mama Bear. She's the homie. Yeah.
For Mama's awesome. We're gonna do a stream soon, so that'll be good. She's trying to get trying to get the hubby active with the community. It seems like the women gather together and all the dudes are kind of standoffish. Like, I don't know how I feel about you yet. Kind of got to vibe out, and then we're welcoming once we click, but it just takes a minute. Like it
Yeah,
took me,
guys are like, I'm not sure about these other guys and what they're doing, and they get into all the like moon arguments and whatever. I think the women are just like, not so big a deal.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you had several different things that you said you wanted to talk about, and I guess we could kind of start with education and just kind of go from there. So,
Education. Who picked these topics?
I mean,
Is this Abigail? Jessica's an expert in classroom management, actually. So she has all these like tools and tricks to use. It's very. I admire it. I don't think I could do it, but
so I'm not sure exactly what direction you wanted to go with that. But were you talking about just how people learn and what's perceived of education, the way it's just, there's this structure to it where it's all nonsense instead of saying like everybody learns differently and you've got to figure out how somebody learns to really empower them to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I always thought that growing up, and the thought never really changed throughout college and grad school, was basically the idea that I thought a lot of the methods they were using were just totally ineffective.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways that people can learn and that you can teach that just weren't being utilized. But also the topics. Even when I was in business school, some of the teachers would write out and admit, like, oh, all the stuff that you're learning in this class, it's gone through the process of approval so that it can be the syllabus, but it's all already totally outdated, like at least 10 years. It's like, right. Oh, cool. Yeah. And, but yeah, not just in that regard. There's a lot of other topics that to me, I find interesting that I think would be cool to make in terms of alternative curriculum. And then my idea was this, because they're going to have, my older brother has a doctorate in education and Jessica will have one. Well, I'm like, okay, y'all are the credentials, right? Once you have that doctor by your name, people are like, oh, it's official. We can listen to this person, So, like, what are your thoughts? What are my thoughts? Was one of my education professors used to teach that most teachers teach in accordance with how they learn best. Right. What teachers and professors connected with them and that style that worked for them, and then they just go with that. But the best thing is to try to hit everybody where they're at, like the audio, the visual, all the different senses and different ways. Trying to provide a rounded experience so that you're kind of hitting everybody and not just addressing the people with your particular learning style and your particular personality and, all that. So anyway.
So you're getting a doctorate in education, is that right?
Yes.
So what do you currently do?
Well, currently I'm at home writing a dissertation, but I used to direct children's ministries.
Okay, nice.
So I'm getting a doctorate from seminary, so it's specifically Christian education. Sure. So being able to, I guess, be the principal or someone over a Christian school, or even any type of large program in a church overseeing like small group leaders or department or things like that. She can also do curriculum development teachers as well. Training and coordinating teachers and creating curriculum and things like that. Yeah, and she already has experience with supervising teachers and that sort of thing.
So like, what's the end goal with that? Do you want to be like a curriculum director, or is that?
Not... Well, I would say in the last couple of years, my life has taken some interesting turns. And so the future I once saw is not really there. But I do still intend to finish what I started. So that's where I'm kind of at with the process. Yes.
Gotcha.
Everything has changed for everybody a lot in the last few years, like in very interesting ways. But, well, in 2017, I was working at a church, doing all this, and I was full-time working in the office of my doctoral studies program, and I was a full-time student. So I had all this going and thinking about a career and success and all that, and some things happened, and
priorities changed.
Some priorities drastically changed in 2017, and then because of health reasons, and then in 2019, I actually tried to go back, thinking like, well, I can reconnect, I can go back to that life, and I was trying to take the next step in my career or whatever. It didn't even last a year. I just couldn't do it, So
yeah, that's a lot. That's pretty impressive though. Just juggling all that. Like I worked in educational sales for a few years. I worked for Christian education, and so I've dealt with a lot of curriculum directors and stuff like that. And the thing that I saw very quickly was just how much nonsense there was in like Common Core and just politics and wine and dine, all that nonsense. And as my main focus was the state of Alabama, just like across the board. And so you would go to one school, we'll just say like, somewhere in Birmingham that's trying to think of a nice school that, is really high end, not even like private, but just really well done. They had money, maybe Vestavia Hills or Mountain Brook or something like that. And they had just a completely different access to education versus some of these schools. They were literally still using books that had like Bill Clinton in them. They had ran out of spots to sign stuff. And it's like these books are 25, 30 years old, whatever it is. And I'm like, the Common Core is supposed to be an even playing field. And all they did was set like $60 million on fire. And then we're doing something. I just think of that meme where the thing's burning and it's just poking it with a stick saying I'm helping. It really wasn't anything to it. So, but I've always been like School of Hard Knock. I went to high school and I took some classes for carpentry for a while at a technical school. And then I did some online classes for business, but in general, it just wasn't my thing. I went through School of Ministry and I completed that, but it was just like where my heart was at and everything. I was like,
so you did business. You did business and ministry, like Abigail did. She has a business degree and a ministry degree. Yeah.
Well, I didn't finish the business. I did
started
2 semesters. Like it was
I did mine for 10 years. I did like the extended plan. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough going to class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
who does that?
I'm not like I'm hands on. I read some stuff, and in general, I have to feel it, touch it. Like I've got to tinker with it to figure it out. And so, I have to kind of be able to process through it. And just hearing the information, I can regurgitate it, but anybody can regurgitate information. Like actually being able to teach it or, develop it into something more, that's not the way I learned. So I don't know.
Yeah. Abigail's that way, the old boots on the ground. She wants to be like busy doing everything. I'm the exact opposite. I want to sit down and think about it and write it and then revise it and plan and plan and plan and plan and never do anything. It's a good balance.
A lot of theorizing and then you just like, all right, next bowler
on to the next theory.
I mean, I can't say that I disagree with that. That's a lot of what I do. But Bowler says getting a PhD in gravyology. Teach me, Bowler. Well, cool. Let's see. What is some other stuff you got? Personality theory. I feel like this is something Abby can really.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they. I don't even think anybody wants me to talk about that. Everybody's like
She
tired
loves
of
that
it.
stuff so much.
They
She
hate
loves
the
it
topic.
so much. I find it extremely depressing, but mainly it's because people always put that they hate my Myers-Briggs personality type. So maybe that's why I find it extremely depressing. I won't even look at the stuff anymore, But she loves it.
That is a thing.
Well, all right, let's
Yeah.
poll the chat. Who cares at all about personality?
Wait, I can't see what they're saying. We're like so far behind in our. Oh.
Well, and something
Nice
interesting,
smiles. Those braces cost a lot of money, but thank you. I'll tell my dad you like it.
Andrew gets a vote for yes. He wants to talk about it. And well, this is something, like before I got into it, I thought it was all really gay and nonsense. Like when I was younger, like just being honest. Yeah. And then I like started looking into it, started just kind of figuring out and seeing the value and the purpose for it. And, like Myers-Briggs, I'm an ENFP. And then, as far as there's a couple of other ones, there's some of them I'm not big into, but the one the other one that I find great value for is the color code personality test, and that's all about motives and intents of the heart. And I feel like when you combine those two, you get like a pretty full perspective of somebody and what drives them and what's important to them and stuff. But so that's kind of like, that's your area, right, Abby?
Yeah, I went through a phase where I had to like cross-reference every other, personality inventory, and I got a lot into like comparing the types between Enneagram and the Myers-Briggs types.
I don't even know my Enneagram.
It would be a 2.
I don't know what that means.
But it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so like, yeah, there are all these different inventories that you can do, but in reality, the tests are just really for ballparking. They can't verify, and that's the problem with a lot of the tests. And I hear people complain about it. They're like, oh, that could apply to anyone, and about all the, some of the results. And I'm like, yeah, no, actually it gets pretty specific with certain things, I would say. And the reason why I find it so useful is because, you're really taking a deeper dive or trying to have a stronger effort at really understanding where other people are coming from. In a sense, like necessarily separating that person from your own projections about their actions.
Yeah.
And trying to understand actually like where they're coming from, which is oftentimes a totally different perspective.
Yeah. So
just trying to have that like deeper understanding of other people so that you can better care for them. Mm-hmm. That's why I like it. And I like to understand how things and people operate.
It's definitely entertaining to read, especially about yourself. You're like, how did they know this? This is too much. It's too personal,
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. It'll show you all your flaws, all your strengths. And the thing that sticks out to me about the color code personality test that's different is it bases it on you as a child before any trauma. And so it's interesting how we change based on trauma and how you can like reprocess through all that to get back to your true self. And like the difference of what drives some people, like some people are like motivated by being understood, some people are motivated by feeling powerful and like being honored and recognized, right, like affirmation. And then some people, like my personality type, which is funny because like a lot of people misread me, but I'm motivated and driven by fun. Like if it's fun, if I can make it a game, then I'll enjoy it. Otherwise, I'm going to glaze over and be looking like I'm lost. So, but it's interesting in just seeing the dynamic of how people relate, how they have value, and how we're all supposed to be interrelational. Like you can't just be an island. And I think one thing that really stuck out to me about your stream with Copper you did like a few months ago was you said one time your dad said you can get along with anybody that you choose to or that you want to. And that,
Yeah.
like, I feel like that was one of my main takeaways from that stream was, it's either a you thing or a them thing why you can't connect with people. Some personalities and stuff, they do generally clash because they're just motivated by different things. But a lot of times, it's either somebody is too much like you or they're too much different from you and you don't want to learn that, like, rubs you the wrong way, right?
Yeah, exactly. And different maturity levels as well. Like, that can also play a big role. It's interesting what you were saying about how trauma affecting the personality. And one of my friends had brought it up to me recently, saying that, like, a lot of times when people are having some sort of a breakdown from, like, the counseling perspective, that it's not necessarily like past trauma, but actually that they're trying to, like, hold on or maintain, like, two conflicting ideas, that are, like, coming
Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance, but it's coming to the surface in some way, or it's trying to play out where it's like one thing you believe and it's conflicting with somebody else, but you don't want to let them go. And talking about how that oftentimes has an impact. But it's interesting what you're saying about, I had said recently, I was like, oh yeah, I got to get back to my, like, original conscientious self to make the next step forward. But then sometimes I feel like things that we go through in life, like what she was saying, sometimes you try to go back to something and it's like that part of you just doesn't exist anymore. You can't connect with it necessarily, even though you want to. It's like part of the, like, cognitive shifting or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, sometimes things just end, whether it's a job or a relationship or a certain path you're on. And I imagine most everyone on here has experienced that. Sure. At some point, things kind of fall apart, and no matter how much you try, it's just not working the same.
The dog wants to come in.
Our dog loves Abigail, and so wherever she goes, it sits outside the door, like, and waits for her. So it's banging on the door right now.
What kind of dog is it?
Bull terrier. Looks like the target dog, with the ears that stand up and black and white. Yeah.
What's up, Snowman? We haven't really acknowledged the chat much, so I'm gonna take a
see what they're
Yeah, we can't see all the comments.
It's very hard.
For some reason, it's not scrolling for us as they're loading.
What's up, Titty?
So we're not seeing them.
You can't see it at all?
It's barely there.
It's like faded, the last two lines.
Tap it and it should.
It's not scrolling.
Like, re-highlight.
Oh, maybe we need to push this. Oh, there we go. Spud McKenzie. Yeah, it looks like Spud McKenzie.
Oh, Ben. Hey.
Keep it. Jerusha keeps getting thrown out of the chat. If you'd quit saying the N-word, that probably would stop.
Oh.
Wow. Is she throwing herself out of the chat?
Pretty much.
No,
we're so boring. Our own sister doesn't want to watch. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
She's just jumping in and out. She's just pestering people and then coming back and pestering some more. Okay.
She said, "Oh, that's cool, Jerusha."
Oh. Cool. Throwing her under the bus. It's okay.
So, and all right, so group dynamics, I guess that is similar with, like, just how you are able to relate and connect with people, and then figuring out how you fit when somebody's added to the equation or taken out of it. With the social sexual hierarchy, that's the thing of, some people just can't follow rules, or they can't, if they're not the alpha, they make everybody's life hell, right? And then there's some people that they just figure out how to be valuable. They fit, and then they just fit where they need to in different situations. Anyway, I don't know. That's just where my mind went with it.
I think it's a good segue to talk about that a little bit before talking about growing up in ministry, because group dynamics, well, okay, so our dad had a doctorate in marriage and family counseling. And so he was kind of actively studying all that when we were young, and of course, and also ended up one of the first big churches that he ended up pastoring in Texas. I was like 3 years old when we got there, but by the time I was 5 or 6, I remember that I'd be riding home, like in the back of the car, the back of the van, and listening to them discuss the group dynamics of what was happening, like overall in the situation amongst people. And I'd be listening to them, you know, he'd be saying, oh, did you see this person, that action, this or that, and how like people were generally moving or acting within the group, or this person said this. And also like learning to think about the people's actions in a like series, so that you're understanding like how things are connecting, the sequence of events, so that you're not totally just lost all the time about where things are going or why things happen the way they did.
Right.
Has a lot to do with the sequence of events, and by like recounting like what, okay, well this happened, then this person did this, then that happened, and then you can see, okay, so you start to understand, and that is the group dynamic. You start to understand like why things happen, why people do a certain thing or say a certain thing or some other action. And so listening to that from the time you're like a little kid really helped to sharpen my discernment of different situations. And so we kind of already grew up in that environment. And then Jerusha started studying psychology in college. And I kind of followed in her footsteps, although I never really did it in terms of class. It was always my own like personal study. And then we started testing people. I don't know how many hundreds. Me and Jerusha started testing people. She was the expert and all that, but I was just her sidekick.
And by testing people, what do you mean?
We were actually giving people personality tests, like a personality inventory, like 75.
The Myers-Briggs.
75 questions.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
what yeah, so that.
What did you come up with out of that research?
I'm just always learning something new. I mean, usually when I would jump, sometimes I would just kind of pull away from it and then jump back into research when I'm trying to figure out a certain person or a certain situation. What are they saying?
Bowler. He said you were shit testing.
Queen of Eagles is the smart one, but Jessica has the doctorate. Who's saying it? Well, now you know what? That's actually true. Let me respond to that feisty little comment. Wow.
It's actually
getting hot in here. Okay. No, it's absolutely true. And you know why? Sorry. Wow.
I gotta take my scarf off. It's getting warm.
I'll be the first to admit that my success in school is just from sticking in there. But Abigail and I were in the master's program in seminary at the same time. We shared a little apartment, and some of our classes were the same, not all, but a few of them. And whenever we were studying for midterms or finals, Abigail would go through and be like, okay, this is going to be on the test, this is going to be on the test, this is going to be on the test. And she would study specific things. I would go through every note.
She actually did the reading.
I had written, I would go through every note. So she was always working smarter. I was always working harder. I always spent way more time, and she always made better grades. And I was just so upset, because she would just pick certain things that she knew were important. And I'm like, well, how do you know that it's just going to be that, And she's like, I just know. And then that was it.
Awesome. Bowler got me with that one. That messed me up. That was hysterical, Bowler. Well done.
What did he say? What was
he
that
just
one?
said shit testing. Like, because you were talking about testing, women shit testing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny, Bowler.
I didn't always get on board with all of that stuff. It's so funny. I do like to study the other topics. I mean, every personality kind of covers a lot, but there's the sexes are involved there, and that's also interesting talk in terms of the dynamic. But it's I never really got that with the shit testing thing. I thought it was more of a personality thing.
I think I do that to guys quite a bit, just randomly send a text, ask a question or saying something just out of left field, and they're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But
Abby's not buying it, I don't think.
I just thought when people guys would say something, and I always just thought that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. like, oh, women are shit testing if they like ask you to hold their bag or something. I'm like, well, or maybe they just want you to hold their bag while they like pick something up or do something else. Like, I don't know. I just thought like some of the stuff is they're kind of over.
I think what they mean is like when a woman's trying to establish dominance to see if you're going to be like, no, check, like you're being ridiculous right now. That's the main thing shit testing is like if the woman's going to force you to do something like holding your bag, whatever, that can be helpful and kind, but it's more like, you know, I don't know, random.
Oh, Jessica has something to say.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Look at his face.
Oh, no. Abigail is extreme. Abigail has got that extreme alpha energy, even though I've never seen her ask a guy to carry her bag, you know, but it shows in other ways, you know. But
is she trying to play innocent right now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There it is. Right. Fair enough. We'll move on with that one. So, all right, I guess we can kind of segue into just what it was like being a part of a family that's a part of ministry. It's kind of, you know, well known that you guys, his dad's a pastor, and you know, a few of us are, you know, like pay attention to his messages, whatever. Like I'm actually reading the book right now, and it's very interesting. Some of that stuff I'm familiar with, but he breaks it down and kind of really expounds upon a lot of that stuff. As far as I haven't gotten far, just being honest with you, I'm a few pages in, but like for me to read a book at all right now, I have to, I don't know, push everything aside and lock in with it. Like basically the Bible is about all I read for the most part. But you know, so he's always been in ministry.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, since we were born, but yeah, he was, well, I guess he had a like very serious experience with God when he was in college, and then ended up kind of like totally redirecting his entire life. He was doing mechanical engineering, so he was working and actually used that to work his way through his other degrees in church history and counseling and all of that. He was doing engineering at the time, and he always just had a ton of, I know you've watched some of his some of the messages on the McKinney Ministries, so you might have heard him talk about part of that, but he was always doing a lot. And yeah, I mean, growing up in the church, it was always, I think there was definitely, I would say 5 or 6 years of my life where once I kind of got out of that, I was not really wanting to associate myself with the church just because of so many bad experiences, where I just thought, I know I'm definitely a Christian, but I don't really want people to think that I'm like those people. Mm-hmm. And so just kind of was trying to ignore that to a certain extent. Of course, you know how that never works out. But
well, basically, we lived in a parsonage, so right there on the property for, I think, like 13 years or something. Wow. Like a huge chunk of time from like through the whole teen years, basically. And anyway, so yeah, I remember thinking like, sometimes feeling sorry for myself, like, oh, why can't I go to the public school, or why can't I be normal or have a normal house, or, you know, feeling like people are judging you, or were definitely judging. You're somehow separate from the other people in your city and all that.
There was always town gossip.
Yeah. And I guess thinking like, wow, my life is consumed with this one thing. But when I got a little bit older and I actually started taking dance classes, I realized like when I started being mentored by her and running errands and, you know, basically living day to day, doing things with her, I realized like, oh, this person owns a business and her life is consumed with this one thing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, your reality is a little smaller when you're a kid and you're thinking, oh, this is only happening to me, or, you know, right. Whatever. And just realizing like, no, anybody who has anything they're working on in life, they're focused on that, and you know.
So, did you guys homeschool, or how did that go?
Both. We homeschooled and had a Christian school for many years, and even went to some other Christian schools when our dad was pastoring in other states.
Gotcha.
So,
And so you spent a good bit of your like childhood and stuff in Texas. Like, when did you guys move to North Carolina?
2010.
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we lived in Texas for a really long time, and then we actually moved to Colorado for college, and we're there, I think, 5 years.
Yeah.
Doing the whole college cool, fun thing, and then and we came to North Carolina in 2010, and that's when we started graduate school together.
Gotcha. And what school? What school did you go to?
Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary.
Okay.
It's in Wake Forest.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And so, yeah, that's one thing Abby and I were talking
Campbell.
about. And so,
Abigail's actually, well, okay.
Now we're
Now I have to address this comment because this guy keeps
he's pushing.
he is poking me. Okay, so he
Tim
wants
Bobby
an
doing the
answer. We used to say that Abigail was my manager because I was, dancing and sometimes dancing at different churches, or like I said, I was working in children's ministries, so having events and stuff, and she would be there like helping me with everything, and everyone would say, Abigail's your manager, she's driving you around, she's, connecting.
And cooking and cleaning.
She was really taking care of me for many years. And recently our roles have kind of
switched.
flipped, and that's part of everything kind of switching around for me. And now she's the one out doing stuff, and I've got to go to all her events and support.
Yeah.
And look at me now. I'm on Hanging with Bears because of her. I'm just here supporting her.
Doing big things.
Yeah.
You're just hanging.
We're hanging out.
It's cool. No, yeah, it's so crazy being a part of a family that's a part of ministry or any of that stuff. Just like you said, you feel the judgment with people, and there's this idea that just because your family has a heart for the Lord, or whatever, that your life's going to be perfect, or that you have it all figured out, or that you're not going to make mistakes, right? And
Yeah.
My dad was never a pastor or anything, but literally I was born into a family that went to church 3 times a week from birth. I was baby Jesus in the Christmas play. And I mean, no joke, literally. And I'm like, this is a setup right here.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I've been divergent my whole life. So I'm like, if you think I'm going to move a certain way, I'm probably going to surprise you. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's not productive or helpful sometimes, but there for a few years at least, it was like, if you wanted to put me in a box, you ended up in the box and I ended up far away from you. So, just, it's like people have a heart for the Lord or whatever. And then, but none of us have it all figured out. And I just think of the verse, train up a child in the way they should go. And, when they're old, they won't depart from it. It doesn't mean they won't stumble. It doesn't mean they may not make stupid choices, but eventually the seeds will come to fruition, and I'm a product of a praying mom and dad that kept me from dying a couple of hundred times, I'm sure, in my rebellion and my nonsense. But even through my process of the years of realigning and getting my crap together somewhat, I still have areas in my life, right? And you don't realize that it's easy as soon as somebody says they have a heart for the Lord to put a microscope on them, and then you don't realize we're still human. We're still working through our process. We don't have it figured out. Or even if we have a good idea of the way things should be, you still have to apply it and get things, to shore up and stabilize. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. I mean, because I loved church when I was young. I loved VBS. I loved Christian school. We even with the kids, we'd get up and dance during the worship time. And when we were teenagers, we would like choreograph some little dances when we had a special conference and like, you know, do some like singing specials and, you know, so we did all this stuff. But yeah, I would say sometime around maybe 16 or something, I started feeling a little bitter and thinking like, I'll never, you know, I'll never be in ministry when I grow up. And, you know, I'm going to try to make money and, you know, all this kind of
Yeah, you feel like,
stuff.
why did we always have to be like suffering on this, you know, shoestring
Yeah.
budget and
But the funny part is,
then people talking shit about you at the same time, like, oh, you're just trying to make money, you know, and you're wearing like hand-me-downs for years and years, like clothes that don't even fit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go. Then every time my parents are on a ministry trip, they're like, oh, how did they have, how's vacation? You know, like, it's just,
was it vacation?
yeah, a lot of like criticism and whatever that just makes you feel like, man, I don't know if I really like want to spend the rest of my life dealing with this shit. You know?
Yeah. So I would say like the teen years got a little bitter, you know, but
it's so funny, this like classic moment when Jessica got up to read a scripture one time. My parents were out of town and they like made us manage the service while they were gone. Jessica gets up and reads this.
You know, my dad would give us like, different things like, you're going to get up and read a scripture.
How long, oh Lord, will you forget me forever?
No, that's
Jesus wept, the end.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
The chat's trolling me so hard right now, by the way. Little baby Jesus said, row, row, row.
But it's funny because, yeah, then after the teenage years and then college, I was thinking like, well, I just want to have a normal life and maybe I can like get married and like have kids and like I'll just be normal. And and then when college was like wrapping up, I think it was my last semester or something, there was still no clear direction. There was no boyfriend, there was no special job, like there was no, you know, clear path forward. And I remember somebody walking through the living room, you know, we always had people over at our house, and somebody said, well, there's always seminary, you know, because I would do some little teachings at church and stuff sometimes. And sometimes people thought my goofiness was entertaining. Well, anyway.
She gets to be really entertaining, actually.
And it was like in that very moment, like the light bulb came on and I knew like I'm going to seminary, you know, and
yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
And then you embraced it. Well, and I think it's interesting, like when I went through school of ministry and stuff, like originally, and this is a mindset that I think a lot of people have, it's like, okay, well, if you like choose God, then you have to be a youth pastor. Like that's your default. Like now I got to be a youth pastor. I have no choice. And like, I always thought that was a terrible time. Like, I do not want to babysit anybody's kids. That's not what I want to do. Right. You know, like, you know, I was a hellion as a teenager.
Thanks,
like, I'm sure it's going to be terrible. But, you know, just how, when I went through school of ministry, it wasn't to be a pastor or, you know, whatever. Like, it was like the school of ministry I went through was all about focusing on identity. You know, it's not like what you do that defines you. And like I definitely got caught up in it and got stuck in works where, I mean, I was literally, you know, working 30, 40 hours a week for the church, not getting paid a dime. And, you know, and I don't care, like, whatever, even though I do believe if somebody works, they're worth their wage, you know, like it's scriptural, you know, that you pay a worker their wages. But that wasn't where my heart was at. I just wanted to see people encounter God. And, but, you know, just how this mindset of you can be whoever you're called to be, like whatever that looks like, whether you're, you know, an electrician or, you know, whoever, whatever you are, like your gifts make room for you. Right. And, you know, your gifts don't define you, but they do carve out a path as well. And just how every like sphere of influence needs to be impacted by the kingdom of God. So, you know, this mindset of you have to be a pastor or you have to be this or you have to be whatever it may be, no, just like whatever you have a passion about, whatever you like enjoy and challenges you and motivates you, like run with that and God's gonna bless it. Like the mindset of that, I don't know. I believe that's what keeps a lot of people from just saying, okay, God, like show me what you're like, what you are. You know what I mean? Because they think that it instantly shifts into this task mindset instead of like, no, he just wants to do life with you. Like, I know that's one of those things like the TV pastors know like disrespect or whatever, but like the big names now, that's all they want, like do life and all this stuff. But it's true. Even if it's cliche to some people, it's still true. Like it's a reality, even if it's gotten taboo or like it's lost its luster because it's been mass produced, like it's still real.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the cool part about the big shift right now into like smaller meetings and home churches is kind of like regaining that sense of reality in the church. And that was another thing about growing up in church and then deciding, no, I don't ever want to like do this because I don't want to have to be fake. And that's what I felt like. It was like a nonstop. Even if you tried to be real, it was like when you showed up there, the people were still like themselves being fake and wanting you to also be fake to some extent.
Right.
But it's kind of that way a little bit in any role. But it's just been kind of, I think the pendulum just swung a little too far in the fake direction when it comes to a lot of the church.
Yeah.
I would say since 2020 and on, it's become obvious that a lot of workplaces put a set of rules and social expectations and social norms and put you in a box. And if you say or do anything contradictory to their doctrine or dogma, then you will be cast out. So it's not really just, I mean, I understand people always say that about ministry and all that, and that's most certainly true. But I would say, especially recently, that's become true of
everything.
A lot of places.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Everything. It's become true of social media.
Yeah, it's literally it's flowing into every facet of life, and it's the kingdom of light versus the kingdom of darkness, and there's no guessing now. It's like either hail Satan or Yahweh. Like it literally is that clear now. I did want to throw this out there, though. Tim Pool did confess his love for you, Jessica. So I didn't know if you recognize that.
Hat. It's Tim Pool's hat. We don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know who Tim Pool is, other than he likes to make a lot of snarky remarks. But catch me outside at Crush Fest, okay?
Just throwing threats out there, man.
Catch me outside. How about that? And I took karate, so just when I was younger. So.
Let's not start bugging. Right, what's up? How's the chat doing? Are you guys hanging in there? I know it's been an adventure so far. It's almost been an hour, so we're only halfway through your list, so we may make it.
Oh, geez. Yeah, no, we don't have to go through the list, but we're just, it's a lot. It's
a long list. Abigail doesn't even like lists. That's why I'm like, she made a list.
I thought Jerusha was going to come in here. She's still in the chat. I thought she was going to, like, come in and, like, tell us what it's really like. She like, I knew it was like before y'all were both born, okay?
She's like
Jersha's Jersha is that real bear. I mean, she's that real bear. You know
Jessica told me the other day that she was more bear than me anyway, so I was like, I feel like this is appropriate.
That's because I get on.
You're making claims now. Now you.
Oh, wait a minute! Whoa! Okay.
That's because I get on that Target app and I just go through and I like everybody's stuff and comment.
Jessica's got some new bear lingerie.
Oh, no,
it's this apron.
Things are escalating.
No, Jersha bought me this like beautiful. I don't know who she bought this from, but it's a beautiful,
nice apron.
It's a really nice apron. I've actually been on the carnivore diet for like, I think I just finished week 16, and so I've been cooking like tons
over 100
of
days.
meat, and there's grease, and it gets dirty, and so. Jersha actually bought me the first apron I've ever owned.
Nice.
So I was like, I told her she could take a picture and post it as bare lingerie, but
I mean,
yeah, I'm planning to, but yeah, I went through the house and I was like, "This is so pretty." I'm like, "I'm not sure if this is an apron
you don't
or
wanna
if
get
it's
it dirty.
bare lingerie." Yeah, I said I hate to even wear it to cook because I don't want to get grease on it because that's how pretty it is.
that's
But anyway, thank you to whoever made this. I'm not sure what account that is. But
yeah, Georgia, who made that? You remember?
And now Tim Pool is requesting you to go cook something. I
Go
feel
cook
like
something.
this may end up in marriage. I don't know.
There's
And I'll start it
actually,
on
she's
Hanging
got
with the Bear.
steaks thawing right now.
I've got a steak thawing right now. So.
Nice. Okay.
I know
now
how
we
to
get
cook that steak.
Now
we're
get
getting
to the
somewhere.
serious questions. Yes. Now we're
Wifey
talking.
lingerie.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. What kind of cut do you prefer?
Oh no.
You mean whether thick or thin, or you mean the actual steak?
Both.
That's a really good
Ribeye is
question.
my favorite.
That's a great question, but I just don't
No.
pay enough attention.
We don't accept that. No, you have to decide. And do not pay attention to whatever Stuntman says in the chat about this. He's not qualified to have an opinion on this.
I'll tell you what though, I can say when you're doing carnivore, I've had some chicken and bacon and fish and whatever, all sorts of stuff, lamb. Steak's the most satisfying thing. You got to have the steak.
I will say, I
Yeah,
do not
have a steak.
disagree with you though, but I will say I think the best thing I've ever had in my entire life was a smoked salmon from Alaska. Like,
Oh, wow.
seriously, and I've had like bone-in, ribeyes from Ruth Chris and, like stuff like that, whatever. I'm sure there's people who've had nice steaks, different places, whatever. But I'm telling you, I would prefer cook my own steak and do it and all that versus go to a restaurant every single time.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Okay, and how would you say you like it? I think Abby likes hers medium rare. Is that right?
I've gone to rare. Jessica always overcooks it.
I always used to like medium well, but I've matured in these last few weeks of this diet, and I've been becoming more and more rare. So it's a process. It's a growing process.
Now Tim Pool's beanie is hitting on me, so things are just getting weirder.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate that. That's nice.
I don't.
I don't know how old you are, but he's hitting on you. Oh
Yeah,
my
me.
gosh.
Yeah, me. Not you.
Okay, never
Don't
mind.
go there.
It escalated the wrong direction. So okay.
Oh, dear.
So all right, both you ladies are single, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Abby's not answering the question.
Did you say that looking directly into the camera? Did she break eye contact? Did she say
I have to check. No.
Okay.
I'm single.
All right. So, and you're on the Bertaria Times app, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been on there much lately, but yes,
I even had a guy ask me, like, why hasn't your sister been posting? You're missed.
Yeah.
You're absolutely missed.
Things are going on.
Yeah. So, it is amazing. Like you guys' family really is impressive, and you guys have a lot of accolades. You guys just have crush in your blood. I think it was your mom that said this in talking about holding the purse. He said your dad is a alpha man's alpha or something to that degree.
Yeah.
And he would hold a purse if requested. So shout out her.
Yeah, because
she definitely did some right with the crew as well. What were we going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, super confident men, they aren't even worried about that kind of stuff. Whereas I think people, men that are like on a lower level and they're just trying to figure things out or trying to they worry about that kind of stuff. It's like, to me, it's just nonsense.
Right.
Like, if you're confident about who you are and what you're doing, like, you don't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, all right, that's one of the things. What do you think is reevaluated? Like the last couple of years, I feel like it's been a realization for a lot of us in realizing what is important, what's not important. What do you think? Like, and you can both, whatever, take turns. But what do you think is important to you now that wasn't important, say, 2 years ago? And like what what would you say is more of your focus now as those kind of perspectives shift?
Go ahead.
What's
Go
more,
ahead.
what's more important now than
Speechless.
2 years ago?
Or wait, do I need to go first since you're smarter according to Tim or whatever?
You're supposed to speak for me. I give you the signal. No. No. What are you thinking? I'm like, there's a lot. It's changed.
Yeah. Well, like I kind of already mentioned in 2017, my focus was, school and work, career, making money. I'd already kind of given up on fun, a social life, a love life, marriage, all those other things I'd kind of already given up. I was already in my 30s and, just didn't look like anything was happening there. So I was kind of like going full force in the other direction. And anyway, I ended up having a little health problem and stepping down from those positions. And I would say that created a huge shift, because when you have some sort of scare and you think like, well, I could have just died, or, I could have just been given a certain amount of time to live or something. It really changes your perspective on, like you're saying, what's important, and I wasn't in the hospital thinking like, I wish I had spent more time at work or more time at the church cleaning out the children's ministry cabinets or, whatever. Like, that wasn't what I was thinking. I was there thinking like, I wish I had a social life. I wish I had friends. I wish I had a baby. I wish, all these other things were coming into my mind. And so that kind of started a journey for me in a different direction of trying to pursue and my own health, feeling guilty about not taking care of my health in the process of running myself into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And
I kept telling her, like, you have to stop doing this. She's like going to school, doing her doctorate full time, working full time. Second job as the children's director at a church which was at least 15 to 20 hours. So it's like, and she's like, I have to finish. I have to keep going. And
I was at a point where I only had 1 year left of the doctorate. So in my mind, I thought, who cares about anything else? I just have to push through until this is done, and then I'll do whatever I want. I'll take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. Well, anyway,
didn't work
out. That didn't work out. So, but yeah, I would say then after that, I started working out. I had danced, all through high school and all that. And I went and started taking dance classes again, started talking to people, I started
teaching ballroom,
embracing my old self that I was before, school. And, but yeah, in 2020, I think
for me,
solidified that
2020 kind of, what it did for me was really just like exaggerate a lot of the things that I was already thinking and had already been going through. Because I've always, I guess, had an interest in, the cultural trends and what's happening. And so at that point, it just kind of exaggerated. Like for me, I had already quit my quote unquote real job. And so then when 2020 happened and everything started shutting down and people are like, oh my God, jobs, are we going to have to wear a mask or lose our job or go along with all this? It's like, I've already been through all the torture and I let it go before any of this even happened. And not to say that it always has to be that way, but that was a big part of like listening to the streams was just part of what Owen was saying about what happens to women in the workforce. You end up having to like operate out of masculine energy and it creates imbalance, etc. So
it creates health problems.
Right. Well, so I mean that's a good direction ahead though, like the masculine energy and like being in the workforce and all that. Like, what do you feel like you've taken away from like the streams or just in general where it's like it's not working? Or, because I feel like there is a time and a place, and like women can have businesses. Like, there's a lot of women bears that have small businesses, all that.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's not a breach of design or whatever. But it's like when you have to sacrifice your family, or like I think we're all designed to have family, to reproduce, all that. So it's like what is going to cause that to be off balance to where it's not the priority, and where's the line and all that, right?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out because, like, right now, there's a lot of opportunity for me to step into different leadership positions. And, the question is, do I keep pursuing that just because it appears that no one else is doing it? Or at some point you have to actually make it a priority. And one like really important thing that my dad told me that always stuck with me was that, he said, Abigail, there's plenty of time in life to do everything that you want to do. And so you don't have to worry about that. But so from my perspective, life is really about the seasons. And so you kind of have to follow that. There's a season for children and raising children, and then there are other seasons,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not, I think from a certain perspective, we get pushed into this idea that, of course, yeah, there's nothing wrong with like women having business or being in business, but that the priority is off when family is never a priority, in that time frame that would be like normal for reproducing. Right. So that's kind of the issue. Is like there's plenty of time in life for everything, but at some point you have to decide, okay, this is what's a priority right now, or what is this season supposed to be for,
Yeah.
And kind of go from there.
What you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know that it so much has to do with whether or not you're working or not working, or if you're full time, if you're part time, or if you're driving to work, or if you're working from home. In my opinion, it has to do more with whether or not you're violating your own values and beliefs. So a lot of times when we have a job, kind of like we already mentioned, you're being forced into a box or something that doesn't seem authentic or true to who you actually are and what you actually believe and what you actually value, or you feel like you can't be your true self, or you feel like the people there aren't recognizing who you actually are. And I think that situation can create anxiety.
Yeah, the sense of community is super important just because of that. Like we're all recognizing each other's uniqueness and skills and being appreciated for them, and that's a big thing.
Well, and also feeling like you're growing, like all these people on the Bertaria app that are like, I'm making these wooden bowls and I'm making this soap and I'm making this. Like they're growing, they're expanding, they're creating, they're learning new things, creating new things. So they're getting like all this pleasure from growing and becoming and all that. Whereas in other situations, maybe you don't feel the same way. Yeah. So I think as long as you're like expressing what God is putting in your heart and mind to express and create, then that's a healthy thing.
Yeah. I mean, it really does go back to purpose. If you feel fulfilled, if you feel like you're adding value and stuff, then you're like, I feel like a lot of the depression, anxiety, all that stuff, it just doesn't have a space. I think, it does go back to gratitude in a lot of ways, but really, if you are busy being like just flowing from, that place of just authenticity, then you're not going to have the time for the nonsense and the thoughts to come in and get distracted. But one thing that's always stuck out to me, because I've heard a lot of people in different capacities and stuff be like, everything in moderation, or whatever, and there is truth to that. Like, I don't want to take away from that, but also just in the context of seasons and farming or, whatever, like when it's grow season or when it's time to get stuff in the ground, like you're working 14-hour days, right?
Yeah.
And then when it's harvest season, you're working 14-hour days. So there are seasons and times where like that's all you're gonna do. Like you gotta hit it as hard as you can with everything you got. And then there's seasons where it levels out to where you can rest. But I believe we're in one of those seasons right now where it's like get seeds in the ground. Whatever you're passionate about,
Yeah.
whatever you is pulling you in a direction, like run with everything you got at it. And I've really been hounding that, but I feel it so strongly. Whatever it is, business wise, whatever. And I know, did you want to talk at all about kind of any of your business idea stuff, or do you want to kind of keep that?
I just kind of like that vibe you had going, talking about the inspiration and all of that, because I think that's really the most important thing, being led by the Spirit and following like what you're feeling at that time, what's making you feel inspired and what's helping you feel connected to other people. Again, that's kind of the seasons. But right now, I feel like for sure what you're saying, like really pressing into some of these different concepts. Some of my business idea had come from the concept of drop shipping, except for I wanted to. Just what? What is this? Oh.
Yeah, it started spinning.
Oh. Jerusha
What
came in
happened?
and let us know that this apron was made by a Texas bear, Gypsy Mama Bear.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So-
Gypsy. Okay, sweet. Shout out
Gypsy Mama Bear made the awesome apron that we showed earlier.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing an online business, but instead of doing drop shipping, that I would set up a similar system, but to support either my friends or at least American businesses to the best of my ability. But I am actually, right now, I may be actually, working on more things in person, which was not necessarily something I had originally planned. I was planning to mainly just do an online store. But anyway, there's still, I still have some groundwork to do on that over the next couple of weeks. So
still kind of in the planning stages, figuring it out. For some reason, the Wi-Fi got weird.
Is it buffering?
Yeah, I mean, you're just like roboting out a little bit. So, is Jerusha still lurking in the background?
No, she walked out. She just brought us a little.
She brought us a note.
A little note.
On a paper plate.
On a paper plate. Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
that's for taking notes.
As far as the alternative economy and, just really being intentional with finance, and I feel like that's a good direction to head with it. That was one of the other things you wanted to talk about. Just supporting people.
Okay. Oh, geez.
What happened?
Supporting people.
It's just.
She said we're getting tired.
Jerusha's interrupting us again. The old interrogator bear.
Or what is it? We'll call you Inspector Bear.
Inspector Bear, whatever.
Investigator or interrogator bear. Are we talking about Jerusha?
Yeah, Jerusha.
She probably didn't find that funny. She definitely she's about the information though. Now Jerusha's awesome. You guys are never in the speakeasy chat. Do you ever watch it live or just kind of catch it when you can?
I haven't really been watching any of the live stuff in a long time. I just I have to kind of tune out at times because I feel like there's too much going on. And like she's always telling me I'm burning the candle at both ends.
Abigail burns the candle on all sides. So yeah.
Doing the most.
Yeah.
She stays busy, doesn't she? Well, yeah. I mean, who are some people you want to shout out? Some things that you guys like are utilizing from the community, people you're connected with, any of that stuff.
You want to grab that bottle? Oh.
Who recommended this? Oh, Big Bear recommended. Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
Big Bear recommended this, right?
Yeah, I've been, like I said, doing the carnivore diet, and I'd like to give a shout out to Big Bear for one time he posted
magnesium.
Anyway, it's magnesium. He posted a photo recommending this, and this has been a great help to me. And then, of course, the beautiful apron I already mentioned, and also Moonlight Repair Bear. He's been a carnivore for, I think, over 3 years. So he answered a lot of my questions that I had about it. He has a lot of gravy on the health topic and recommended a few things that have helped me. So
I want somebody to make a bear calendar. I want somebody to make a bear calendar that's like a regular wall calendar, but with, bear pictures. And then, so I don't know if anyone's already doing that. And then also
probably
just
working
other.
on it right now.
Really?
No, I mean, Woodshop's.
But we can put him on it. No.
Yeah.
But add that to the list.
What else were you going to say? You said you were also.
Oh yeah, like we need a wall calendar, like a bear wall calendar, and also just regular like planner calendars. And like bears should be making all the things, that way we don't have to worry about going to these creepy stores.
Yeah. So how have you guys been handling everything there? Like, has it been you guys are in, you're in North Carolina. I don't know how specific you want to be about where you're at, but like you're in a bigger city, right?
Yeah.
And
we're in Raleigh.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to put out there.
On my Instagram page, so it's not really a secret.
Gotcha, figure. How's everything been there with just the vibe in general? Like, are they pushing the nonsense?
I guess I don't know what's I don't know what's in the news right now, but yeah, people have gotten weird. I've gotten like addressed by 4 different people in the last 2 days. Which doesn't.
What, at a store?
Yeah, like out in public. I'm
so
kind of the opinion that we need to make people feel uncomfortable about addressing people in public regarding the mask issue. I think that if people were made to feel uncomfortable about doing that they would then not do it. So that's probably,
right.
I think, the direction I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been months since I've had anybody say a word to me, like literally a word about a mask or anything. And, I live outside a small community. I only go to town like once a week, but I'm just over all of it. And if somebody was to say anything to me, I'd be like, bro, it's been 2 years, man. Like, this is retardation. Like, this is literally, just admit it. You got duped. And then stop.
Yeah, one of my very good friends said, like, look, if they come up to you again to say, look, I don't want to participate in your mask psychosis.
Mask psychosis. I like that.
Yeah. I was like, that's genius.
Abigail gets out a lot more than I do, but I was really shocked a couple days ago when I went to the DMV and went to the shipping store and, all this. And even though everybody else in there was wearing like masks that were, tight to their face and, all that. And there was even a screen like the North Carolina Department of whatever, we don't serve you without a mask and all that. Nobody said a word. But I was just prepared in the DMV for them to like say something. No one said a word. And I know our dad said the post office up here wasn't bothering people about it.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of people, I think, are kind of over it.
I mean, overall, Raleigh's has a definite like liberal feel. Wake Forest, where our school is, I went in there months ago and, half the people in the stores are walking around without masks. So Just
Well, like
depends
I
on the
say,
area.
I'm like thinking about that Florida meetup. Like, I think
Oh, Florida was
it's good to get a trip
awesome.
like out of the state.
In the middle of 2020, when this had been going on for a couple of months, we went down and visited a friend in Florida. We went to Daytona Beach. It was so, literally just driving out of North Carolina, it was like
A burden lifted. Yeah.
like a breath of
Right.
fresh air in the middle of all that. It
Yeah,
was
I think our state was behind Illinois in terms of like the mask cycles. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and like I go to Florida some, like the past 8 months or whatnot. I've went to Orlando a good bit, and I mean, it really. There's a lot of people that have nothing to do with it, but the hotels and stuff, they were tripping. Like actually, that's the only time I've got any issue was in the hotel. It's like in the breakfast, everybody's wearing a mask in line, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like you're eating. Like what is going on right now? And I don't know. It's very strange. There's no. It's like the people just refuse to let go of some of it, and it's like just give up. Just let it go.
I've only had one lady like come up and attack me, and that was a year ago, or I don't know, a long time ago.
Yeah, right now they're
Yeah.
going to be re-voting every single month on leaving the kids in school in masks. So
Re-voting on the schools wearing the mask, and you said you were going to go to that. Are you thinking about that?
they are, yeah, one of the meeting already happened, but they're going to continue like voting on this issue. Not that one about the injection, but the mask issue. They will keep re-voting on that. Right now, the school board, only 2 people voted against it. Yeah, so some of there's like a grassroots, North Carolina grassroots government is working on finding people to primary for every single position, and turning over school board is top priority right now.
Gotcha.
But because they're actually in the process of, they're pulling a bunch of shenanigans where they're trying to like redistrict everything and like redraw all these maps. So they keep changing the deadlines for filing because they really don't they're trying to do everything they can to just cause like confusion and mayhem because they know it's coming.
Right.
Yeah, like people are like really tired of the stuff.
I mean, I imagine so. Like, just there's this restlessness you can feel with the people that have been just kind of quiet and letting well enough be alone, of the people, and even a lot of people that like drank the Kool-Aid and then they're realizing it's piss. Like everybody's like, okay, like, all right, this doesn't taste right. It's time to switch it up. But people say that he doesn't have any hope for humanity. Like I wouldn't say don't put your hope in humanity, man, but things are bright. Like I'm telling you, I went through a time last year where my head was in a bad place where like I wasn't hopeful. Like just period, looking at everything, you can't let the darkness around you become darkness in you. Like, there is no hope for humanity apart from God. That's the reality. And we've got to, no man, no system, none of this structure is going to save us, but we can build our way out of it. And I mean, this is not the end. This is not even the darkest time in history. It's like, I hear people, it's like, it's never been this crappy or whatever. I'm like, dude, when Jesus walked the earth, there were literally child brothels. Like it was common, not, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing new under the sun. Like we've been conditioned to like think that things. Now I will say, and this is my opinion, but I believe we are at a time that it's one of the most fatherless generations that there hasn't been a world war in, or like major war in, because there's so many men that are not in the home or that aren't being there present in the home or whatever, and like that's the real epidemic. Like saying, okay, get back to family, get back to faith. Like let's focus on what matters, and all this nonsense is a distraction. Like this 18-wheeler, like BB hit it straight on the head, like he always does. That it's manufactured. What else is going on? Or even bigger than that, is it in your life? Is it reality? And what can you do about it? And if you can't really make a change in it or anything, then just put your nose to the grind and build your way out of it. Like
Yeah.
I'm tired of complaining. I'm tired of looking at the satanic nonsense and being like, oh, it's so dark or whatever. Like, man, I'm focused on the beautiful. I'm focused on the things that I actually can control over in my life, and everything else, let it burn. Like, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. That's my little.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think 2020 and 2021, at least for me, I thought were like very dark. But I would say like the beginning of 2022, I felt like a real release. I mean, maybe it's just detoxing on this diet. I don't know, but I guess that's possible. But I just definitely felt a whole new like feeling of freedom and joy and hope that I was not feeling for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think there was a definite shift.
There's definitely been an upgrade. I felt
Yeah, I mean,
more, like a promotion almost. Like we've come through something on the other side and been able to actually overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking a little bit recently about the parable of the wheat and the tares and how people like come in and sow things and, you know, the wheat and the tares grow up together and all that. And kind of like you were saying, you can't expect like that all this stuff's just going to end and then you're going to be happy or whatever. Focusing on yourself and your life and what you need to do to dig yourself out or move forward, you know, focusing on your life and that's what we need to do.
She's been leaning heavily on the bloom where you're planted.
The bloom where you're planted. Yeah.
Slogan.
Yeah, I've been talking to her about this recently because
Jessica has to preach to me sometimes.
no, I mean, because there's so much out there these days, especially on Instagram, you know, constant stuff about goal setting and manifesting and visualizing and writing out all your goals and all this kind of stuff, constantly like future focused. And at least in my own personal experience, whenever I think constantly about all the things I don't have and you're thinking about something that's, you know, so far over there, the most progress and the happiest I've ever been in my life was focusing on where I'm at right now and what's the next step forward to improve this right here. You know, it doesn't have to do with if I could just move to a different city or if I could just get a different house or if I just had these different things, everything I would feel different.
Yeah, start working with what you have.
Yeah, right here.
There's a tendency to be like, well, I'm going to wait until, you know, or like saving things. I'm going to save this for when I have a different life and a different job and a different everything.
And that's when we actually start making progress. Is like you said, when we start climbing out of where we are, is we have to focus on where we are to start, you know, making progress, whether it's just cleaning and organizing our house or whatever. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wherever you go, there you are. It really is. It is the reality. You know, you can't. If you start with your perspective, everything else shifts. You know, as a man thinks in his heart, but you know, in his mind as well. So is he. So if you believe you're blessed, if you believe things are going in the right direction, whatever, then they are. The power of agreement. Or if you believe everything sucks and nothing is going to come to fruition or whatever, then it's probably not, because you're not going to do anything to make it happen either, right? So I don't know. I've really enjoyed it. We've been going about an hour and a half. We can definitely talk.
Yeah.
A few more minutes if you want
can see we're fading. Drusha said we were fading when she brought us the note.
I gotta eat that steak. I'm serious.
Nice. What's up, Finksburg? You guys have any other questions for them? So, what do you guys have planned for this year coming up? What do you want to see? What are you excited about?
That's a good question. I don't know. I was like thinking about this Florida meetup. Well, one of my friends I was just talking to a little bit earlier was talking about this huge property in Ohio, and I was like, sounds like we need to do like a bear meetup there.
I'm looking forward to Crush Fest 2022. Right?
Yeah.
We went to the
Oh,
one
is
last year.
Rhino in here? What's he doing?
Video that's
I don't
taped.
know.
I'm actually thinking about making a little YouTube, like just a short YouTube video about my 100 days of carnivore,
Thanks, Lovely.
just for fun. So I'm kind of excited about that. Maybe I'll post it or something on Instagram or Beartaria or something once I finish it. But
So you strictly eat meat, is that right?
yeah, animal products. So some eggs and cheese occasionally, but just meat. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I've
And-
lost a lot.
No, I'm
I'm like,
laughing
wow,
at
she's actually
okay,
gonna say
first
that.
off,
I was
we're
like,
not even
don't
gonna go
say
there.
that.
As you're
I was
typing
in
that
shock
out,
there for a
Tim Pools
second.
Tim Pools
I
in
really
chat
don't
said-
care. I really don't care.
Just-
I'm
just
too
read the
old.
chat.
I'm too old to be trying to impress people.
Oh, please.
Well,
Did they have a question? I plan.
Tim Pools Beanie said he's looking forward to DMing you, so you can go ahead and put that on the calendar.
Wobbly,
Well,
we can help you get out. How soon do you need to be busted?
she's working on a passport now. I don't know if we really need a passport with what we're trying to accomplish, but it's a good start. Like, Operation Wobbly become a American citizen. I don't know. I think that's the end goal. I'm just talking right now. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
Abigail's collecting those calendar photos. If anybody wants to DM her those,
Keep them PG, everybody.
that's a joke. That's a joke.
I just wanted.
Sorry. I'm just being funny.
Stuck in New Zealand. Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
She's ready to get out of there. Awesome. Well, so I don't know if we got that out. What are you looking forward to? Abby, did you say that?
This is terrible over here. I have a whole list of things to do.
Well,
I wish I could say what I was
rewatch this
looking
and-
forward to.
Well, what are you looking forward to? No.
I'm looking forward to getting something done.
Abigail is moving and shaking the whole world. She's headed out to a meeting every single day or out trying to sell stuff. I mean, don't even ask me what she does. I don't know, but she's busy. But, I've I've been helping my family like sell and organize and a bunch of stuff. So
Nice.
I guess I'm not really big in selling what I'm doing or myself, really. I think it's partially because sometimes I have like plans. I spend a lot of time like planning things, not really talking about them. But then once I start, I have to finish. And I hate talking about things and then not getting them done. So then I just don't talk. I'm like, let's take action.
it decreases motivation.
Yeah, let's
talk
take-
about it after. it's
Yeah,
done.
let's
Yeah.
take action and then we'll talk about it. So
But we're looking forward to becoming even more engaged with Beartaria and all of our bear friends.
I was thinking about trying to make some video content, but I have trouble with consistency. However, Jessica here.
I'm gonna get something interesting out soon. Okay, I'll tell.
I feel like between the two of you guys, y'all will balance it out, and you'll be able to
I'll
make
figure
some
something
videos
out.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's get
she'll talk about it, and you'll help her do it, and then what was it? Tim Pools Beanie once again with the hard hitting question: what is your favorite food to cook?
What's the favorite?
My favorite food to cook?
I guess both of you guys.
Abigail is actually an amazing cook. I mean, was it last year? I don't know, but she started busting out all this stuff, shrimp and grits, like homemade, homemade, and buying all the fancy meats and just
I love to try to make things from scratch.
Yeah, she can cook some outrageous stuff. I'm over there just trying to like make us, some Christmas baking,
And we're riding spinners.
if that counts.
All right.
The
Well,
Wi-Fi is not cooperating.
yeah.
Do either one?
Oh, you have a YouTube channel? What's your channel? Or do you have it yet?
I have a YouTube channel. I don't actually have a video posted on it yet, but I will soon. I'm Jessica the Star. Jessica space the Star. But anyway, I'll post a link to when we actually get done filming and editing.
It's good talking to you, Revere. Next time, if there is a next time, we'll have to hear more of your preaching.
No, I don't make macaroni and cheese. What is?
Any questions, thoughts, concerns, outbursts? It's been a good time. I definitely laughed. I'm still laughing about Bowler. He got me on that one. That's not like they used to try to make me laugh every single stream, and I don't think anybody's laughed that hard. And it's grabbling again. You guys still there? Steak, medium rare and rare. All right. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it, everybody. Kenny crew crushing. Are they still there? Are they out? No. All right. They have left the building. All right. Sweet. Well, you guys have a great week. I've got Wobbly, the one and only Wobbly, next Sunday. So I'm stoked about that. Wobbly is an absolute crusher. And it looks like if Stuntman is still in the building, he's going to get episode 333 according to my calculations. But I'm kind of jealous about that, bruh. Just to be honest with you. House great. Enjoyed it, man. Enjoyed it, everybody. All right. Have a great night and a fantastic week.